Oh, hey, there you are. I've missed you so very much. We are back in home base. I did a bad job recording with an interesting background, and it's 7,000 degrees outside, and my car's air conditioning broke, so we're in the house with our standard background. But I did want to show off all of the fun clay colors I got for my birthday. Watch out, everyone. Weird colored little animals coming to you really, really soon. I'm sorry. I wanted to start this off on a bright note just because today I'm diving into, I guess, heavier subjects than the norm on Chronically Joyful. So, for anyone that doesn't know, I am Kat Weston. Thank you for joining me in this little corner of the internet and being here today. But I just kind of wanted to come on here and chat, have a palaver with all of you fine folks to talk about different lessons that I personally, at least, have learned through living through numerous traumas. So, with that fun little intro of what to expect, let's hop right into it. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. July of 2026 was the single worst month of my entire life. All 32 years on the planet Earth, last month was the worst month of my life. But just thinking through that and how recent it is, on top of, I'm going to call it a trauma of being diagnosed with a chronic illness at a very young age, amongst other life experiences, most brought upon by my own decisions. However, I'm still allowed to feel sad about them, as are you. Even if you make hard decisions, you're still allowed to feel a certain type of way about that. There is validation for you if you needed it today. But I've been strolling and pondering quite a lot, and I'm really disappointed in my lack of stroll and ponder footage. I wanted to do voiceovers on the beautiful Devil's Bathtub hike that I did so that we could all enjoy that together, but alas, here we are with minimal footage. But I do have some walking tours of the High Knob Tower that I will eventually compile together for all of you fine folks. So I did just want to talk about what I've actually gained through living through the worst thing that has ever happened to me. I lived through my biggest fear, and for my own personal peace, I will not disclose what exactly that is. Make your own conclusions. You're allowed to do that. If you know me personally, maybe ask. I'll maybe tell you. But just know, on the scale of 1 to bad, it was real bad. And it has changed me fundamentally as a human, I think. Thankfully, in positive ways, because that is just the type of person that I am. I've always lived through tumultuous situations and have come out stronger on the other side. And that is exactly what I wanted to sit here and talk to all of you lovely folks about today. But we become stronger when we live through painful experiences, as long as we remain grounded and solid in who we are as a person. And in my personal experience, I'm very grateful that over the last 2 years, I have dedicated countless hours to really getting serious about my meditation practices, which have totally fallen off the bandwagon. This is day 3, I want to say, of feeling really confident in being back into the swing of things, into routine and the things that I was building before. So it's shaky, it's rocky, but I'm here and we're doing it. But I'm very grateful to have dedicated so much time and effort into trying to just become a better, more grounded person over the last couple of years. Otherwise, I don't think I would be as much of myself as I currently am. Thankfully, I think things would be a heck of a lot harder than they have been. And for that, I am eternally grateful. So point number 1 is just feeling really confident in who you are as a person. That will get you through anything. I officially think I'm invincible at this point. Like anything that is thrown my way, I can handle it. And I know I can handle it because I've now proven it to myself time and time again in the worst possible ways that you could even imagine. But I'm here and better for it, I guess. I always say that my MS diagnosis made me the person I am today. And in a weird way, I'm thankful for it because it's been very humbling and it's been honestly a beautiful experience to date through all of the things. This, I don't think necessarily had to happen, nor am I grateful that it did, but I am grateful to be sitting at this tiny craft table that is a Hot Mess Express because I'm going to be working with really lovely clay that I got for my birthday. And I'm just grateful to be here. So point number 1 is just be really strong within yourself, in who you are, your core values, what you stand for, and your why, your big reason why you are on this planet and why you get out of bed every single day. Make that your priority. Do it for me, but more so do it for you. Something else this taught me is that it's okay to need other people and to admit that you need support and you need comfort. Because being diagnosed with a life-altering illness at such a young age, I learned, not fast, I'm not going to say I learned fast, I was too young to learn this fast, but I did learn how to manage myself, my needs, my emotional state, kind of, that's more recent. But I learned how to rely fully upon myself. And while that gave me insurmountable resolve and strength, I'm very passionate about the things that I believe that I can do. It also kind of made me a little emotionally unavailable, if I'm being honest. And anybody that knows me personally would hear that and scoff and be like, are you crazy? Like, what? But that's the reality. And the people closest to me would also, closest to me, like my past romantic partners, those types of folks, would actually agree with that sentiment. Where just, I'm hard-headed, and I've always been like, I got it. I can handle it. I still fight people when they offer to do my dishes. I'm like, no, sit down. You're a guest in my home. And just through this most recent experience, I have learned the valuable lesson that it's okay to admit that you need other people. And it's okay to ask for help and not be that, I'm going to call myself a lighthouse. I've been saying that a lot recently. That emblem, that lighthouse for others in the dark. It's okay to need someone else's light sometimes. And to just humbly admit, I need help, and I would appreciate love and a little bit of extra compassion today. There's nothing wrong with that. Puddles and I just got back from our standard mile loop. She is recovering beautifully. We will get to see Puddles Cam today, and she's not in her little suit because she ate the buttons off today and she's over it, and she takes it off tomorrow. So you go, Puddles. We're here for you. But on that walk, I was thinking about a lot of different things and sweating a lot. And I will link it in the description below, but I had written a blog post about how it takes one decision to create a turning point in your life that just, I don't want to use the word implodes, but just turns it tipsy-turvy. Turns it right on its head, and just you feel confident in this one path, and you're going and you're cruising down this path, and you're like, yeah, I got this. This is totally great. And then lightning strikes you in the center of the head, and you're like, oh God, oh no. And then you make a crazy decision, and then you end up going this way, and then you're going this direction. And you're just like, yeah, I made that decision. I'm sticking to it. Here we are. And then lightning strikes you in the center of the head again, and now you're going back this direction, but not the same direction as over here. Now you're on this path. And I realized that in that blog, I did a disservice in a way, because I just talked about one turning point, but the reality of life and the craziness of it is that you make one decision, one huge decision that just alters the course of your life. You're like, great, that's done. I did a thing. Look, can we just go back to normal? But what that does is actually, it is the start of additional tumbling events afterwards that are related to that first decision. She's going to drink water. We're going to take a pause. But it's just the idea that I made this really big life-altering decision. I'm done now. No, you're not. None of us are. No, it is just the starting point to, I don't know why. I want to use Candyland as an analogy, and then you go down like the peppermint brick road, and then things just continue getting crazy. But the point I'm trying to make here is that you make a concrete decision. You did that hard work. Don't think you're not going to be faced with making many, 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 many more decisions equally as big and with equal impact. It is just the ever-flowing ebb and flow life cycle that exists. And I did not do a good job touching on that in that blog. It was just like one turning point. Hell no! It like leads to 15 more big decision turning points that lead you down the Candyland lane of life. My God. Bring it back. Another point kind of related to the last one is just whilst being alone in a beautiful cabin out in beautiful Wise, Virginia for my birthday, I obviously had a ton of time to think, except for the one night that I drank a whole bottle of wine and just had a great time. But during that period of time, I had a lot of time to think and reflect. I do that a lot these days. And just sitting and fully admitting to myself that, yeah, I have made some really big mistakes in the last couple of years that have had very big consequences and have hurt a lot of really good people. And just finally admitting that to myself in its fullest extent. That was my Bluetooth turning off. I'm so sorry. But fully admitting that as a concrete fact, which like everybody knows that is true. And finally just coming to the conclusion that, yeah, I did that and now I'm here. How do I move forward from here? And one of the lessons that I've learned is that, once again, you're thrown a very big decision. And you know in your gut the right answer, but you hesitate. Because once again, you are faced with very large potential consequences. The gift that my experience last month has given me is that everything else feels small. Not that they don't matter. It isn't that. It's just that the consequences of these big turning point decisions, they don't feel so scary anymore. And I feel like, I know for a fact I can handle it. And I can take accountability for the shitstorm that may or may not come after making hard decisions on what I want as a human. And the point I'm trying to make here is that don't be afraid or ashamed of what you want. We are on this planet one time. I'm not even going to get started there. But you are the person that you are right now once. And my personal belief is that we're on this planet to gain experience and make mistakes and learn and grow as a soul. Like through making tough decisions and really big mistakes and doing all of these things, it is helping evolve your beautiful, sparkling soul. I see you. I feel you. And just really working to eliminate deep deep-rooted guilt within myself and shame that has been tied to the things I desire. And I hit that point. It wasn't just over that one weekend. Like, it's been building over time. And then, like, today, over the last couple days, it landed. And it's just learning not to be ashamed of your desires as long as they're not hurting anyone else, for the love of God. And I mean, like, gonna kill somebody, like really big things where, like, what I'm talking about, yes, people are potentially going to get hurt emotionally, but then that leads into my next point, where being on this planet now with the intention to learn, grow, and experience, none of us should be responsible for the entirety of someone else's emotional well-being. And I have carried that for years now, of just feeling responsible for so many other people on top of myself. And the beautiful, prolific moment of realizing, like, I can do my best to show up in this world as a good person, but it is not up to me how anyone else perceives me or how they react to my personal life path. So to tie that all together with a little bow, because it's my birthday season still, don't be ashamed of your desires. Don't be afraid forever of your hard decisions. It's okay to take time to ponder over those, but don't drag it out. It makes it significantly worse. I'm telling you from experience. And drop the fear in deciding to pursue those desires, those passions, those things that just land in your heart space fully and 150%. Just go do the thing, make the decision, stop dragging your feet. And my final point in all of this, a little bit heavier of a Chronically Joyful video here today. Even if you are showing up as your best self, you are trying to be a good human being, you have a good head on your shoulders, you are doing your best to show up as a good person, do good things, give back to the world, and be authentically yourself, that doesn't mean bad things can't still happen. And honestly, they probably will. Where I've dealt with a lot in the last couple of years. Again, all of it feels so freaking small. And then I dealt with what happened last month. I personally believe with grace, self-compassion, and a lot of other things. And have just landed here where bad things can still happen, and it really does come down to how you choose to respond to them. Because I'll be honest with y'all, there was a period of time there I kept saying, this is how supervillains are made. This is how supervillains are made. Because it was just bad, and then worse, and then a little bit worse, and then the absolute worst possible thing that could happen to a woman. Or honestly, any person. I'm not going to make this gender specific, to any freaking person alive on this planet. And I had that turning point moment where I was like, I could take this and I could get real dark. For the remainder of my life, I could go to the dark place and I could not come back. And I could choose to make this moment a core part of my personality and sit in it. Or I could not. And instead choose the light. Instead choose the other path of just finally accepting that happened And I like to think I couldn't have stopped it, but honestly, it happened because I made some weird decisions very out of character for myself because I was like, I feel like taking a risk today and like getting out of my comfort zone and showing myself that I can do things. Wah, wah. But I have accepted it, and my self talk here every morning in the mirror when things are really hard, my line over the last couple of years has been, we move forward. Because at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is, no matter what your choices are, you move forward one way or another. And it comes down to how we respond to the poop that is flinging at our car windows as we're desperately trying to roll them up. Just aged myself. People watching this that are younger are probably like, why would you roll up a window like that? But just, it truly does ultimately come down to how we respond to things. And I personally will always, forever, until the remainder of my days, until my body is incinerated because I will not be in the ground, I will always choose to move forward. And I will do so chronically joyful, because that is the path that I chose almost 12 years ago. It's coming up next week. That's the path I chose. And hopefully it makes a difference for even the 35 of you that may or may not watch this entire thing. But it comes down to how we deal with the hard times and how we personally choose to respond to them. So, all of that to say, a lot of reflecting and just accepting that as a human being on this planet, life ain't easy for anyone. If we're being honest, it's not. Life's not easy. Except for the few people on the planet who it is, where they're just privileged and they just get to grow in different ways. And I'm so happy for those people. Genuinely, like, good for you. Maybe you should start making videos too and sharing your light just because you're not light in the dark, you know? But just trying to normalize that everyone's going through something. You don't know someone's story just by looking at them. You don't know the hardships they've faced, the fear they've experienced, the diagnoses that are invisible that they might have. We don't know. But it comes down to how we choose to show up in the world and how we choose to alchemize the energy. Bringing that back, because my God, I think I might be a professional alchemist at this point, where just pain inspires me. That is not me asking for more. However, every painful experience that I have faced has made me a better person. And that is the path that I chose probably even before 12 years ago. So, ending this here, sending all of you unconditional, boundless love and light from me to you. I hope something in here helped, that it touched something in you. And just however you're feeling today, whatever mistakes you've made, whatever crazy decisions you are carrying guilt about, do your best to let it go. Because at the end of the day, we're all just human. And I see you through your pain. And I love you unconditionally. You can question that all you want if we've never met. But I believe in the collective, and I really do think that spreading that kind of unconditional love, joy, and acceptance to all makes a difference. So thank you all for sitting at my little craft table with me, enjoying my colorful clay that I'm so excited to make tiny creatures with. And just being a part of this community, especially for me right now during a very bizarre time in my life experience. So the light in me sees the light in all of you. I love you so much. Have the greatest Thursday ever. Sorry, it was gross. Have the best Thursday, guys. Thank you. She's thrilled to be out of her little suit, but I will show a little bit of her healing progress. She's missing little patches of fur as she heals from having little benign cysts removed. We are so grateful that she is here and healthy and happy and running around this house making everyone dizzy right now. Good Lord. Bless you, Puddles. Thank you for your contribution, I think.